Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Saturday. It's Crucible Chat. Yes, it's that time of the week where I get a rant about whatever the fuck it is I want. And today is going to be very ranty. But before we start the actual rant, this is a clash match, so it's team deathmatch, effectively speaking. We're playing on Firebase Delphi on the Mars, and we get pasted. I mean, really bad. This is an awful, awful match. But because I've been kind of restricted for time this week, I kind of had to just put out what I could play. And I couldn't play a lot. So, my cat's scratching at the door, which is really distracting. But today's rant. Oh, this one's really fucking boiled my piss this week. So if you look in the description, there's a link to an article on Eurogamer about, and you'll have probably guessed from the title, Target in Australia have bowed to peer pressure from a pressure group to take Grand Theft Auto 5 off the shelves of the store and to stop selling it completely. And this has spread to Kmart, which, I mean, to be fair, they're owned by the same company, but at the end of the day, Kmart and Target in in Australia, rather, are no longer selling Grand Theft Auto 5 because the organisers of the petition, who are admit themselves they are former sex workers, take umbrage with the fact that in Grand Theft Auto you can pick up a prostitute on the streets, you can have sex with her in that weird cartoony way that Grand Theft Auto implies of sex, and then you can kick her out the car, kill her, take her money back. And they took umbrage with this because, you know, it glorifies violence towards women and all that kind of shit. And to be honest, I'm not diminishing stuff like domestic violence. I mean, that is obviously a major issue, and that's not what I'm getting into here, though. The reason why I kind of brush that point aside is because it's not the point of the game. Grand Theft Auto, at no point in its history, and I'm going to say this slowly for those of you who sympathise with this petition, I'm going to say this slowly. Grand Theft Auto has never, in its history, since late 90s when it came out, it has never once in its history glorified violence against women. It has never once encouraged you to be violent towards women. In fact, it treats women with a certain degree of respect. Granted, yes, there is this particular lens that Rockstar North have, where women, just like the men in the game, become kind of hyper caricatures of what you would encounter in real life, but at the end of the day, no, it has never been done in a game where you are told, go find this woman, go and kill her, or go and pick up this prostitute and brutally murder her. That has never been the point of Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto does... I'm not even sure it actually glorifies violence that much. It is a violent game, but to be honest, it's no more violent than Destiny is. And I mean, look at that, I'm fucking shooting a guy with a rifle, he's just taking me head off. You know, it's not that... It's a game where violence is kind of... Violence is used to get... to do the objectives, yeah. But you can play the game. If you don't go into the story mode, if you just want to sit in free play, you can just play the game without being violent. You can explore Los Santos or whichever city in whichever game you're playing. You don't have to be a violent person in it. It leaves the choice down to the player. Now, I take exception to this, really, because at the end of the day, there's a small group of feminists who take an umbrage to this tiny, tiny, tiny part of the game, completely missing the wider point of the game, and they're just ruining it for everybody. I mean, obviously it's going to massively impact Rockstar because they won't be able to sell things out, and there is going to be this issue in the future for Grand Theft Auto 6 or whatever the next one is. Are they going to have this issue when they try and release it? You know, if there are prostitutes in the game, are they going to be invincible? You know, I mean, to be honest, that does sound like something Rockstar would do, just to fuck that you can kill every other fucker in the map, but not the hookers. To be honest, actually, that sounds quite funny. But the point is, this is like kind of you wouldn't censor a Clockwork Orange because it has a rape scene in it. You know, at the end of the day, just like films, games are art, and they should be encouraged to have freedom of expression. Obviously, there is some stuff that games don't touch in general, but at the end of the day, if a game wants to go into a place, providing it's not glorifying the worst parts of society, in fact, providing it's just not glorifying, as long as there is consequence, games should be allowed to do largely what they want. And, you know, I mean, in Grand Theft Auto, your character can't go out and rape somebody. You know, Any sex that there is in the game is generally consensual. So it's not as if the game is out there to try and get on these people's nerves. It's not out there to try and poke this particular bear. You know, I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 has had a lot of controversy, and it does, you know, it pisses off a lot of people, Lindsay Lohan especially, which, to be fair, I still think is hilarious. But at the end of the day, the game has consequence. There is no mission where you are told to go kill a prostitute, and to be honest, if you do go around killing and you choose to kill wantonly, the police come after you, the army come after you. You know, the game is not without consequence, and that is the whole point of Grand Theft Auto. I mean, generally speaking, the criminals that you play in Grand Theft Auto don't want to be criminals. Okay, you had a bit of an exception with Grand Theft Auto 3, but your character was mute, he was just an avatar for you. But, you know, when in Vice City, what was it, Tommy Vercetti or something like that? You know, he wanted to be the boss, he wanted to be the big cheese, and he had to, the crimes he committed were a means to an end for him, but he wanted to be the boss. You know, San Andreas, CJ, he was kind of pulled into a life of crime because of situations that happened around him. Nico in Grand Theft Auto 4, he was pulled into... He ended up in a life of crime because of fucking Roman, the most annoying character in the world. And the three primary characters in Grand Theft Auto 5, they all have their different reasons for doing it, but it's one big... you know, it's the big score they're going for. It's the last kind of few jobs to get them out of the shitty existences that they find themselves in, be it Michael with his horrendous family, Trevor with his insane poverty and insane life, and Franklin with just the fucking shit world that he lives in. You know, the game at no point is about killing prostitutes, and this is really, really fucking annoying me, because at the end of the day, they've ruined it for people. They're ruining it for so many people, and I don't understand why they feel they have to be on this high horse. They can complain about it, don't get me wrong. If they don't like the fact that you can kill people in the game, fine, complain about it. But don't set up a pressure group to take a game off the shelves for the most tiniest of minor points. You know, yes, domestic violence is a huge point in the real world, but this is a game. This is a game that's rated 18 everywhere. And you know, part of the petition was saying that, like, you know, children play this game. Children should not be playing this game. What you are doing is you are using an issue with society to get rid of a piece of media that you don't like. Because at the end of the day, children should not be playing Grand Theft Auto 5. Children should never even touch Grand Theft Auto 5. Children play Grand Theft Auto 5 because of bad parents. And it's a simple enough fact. If the parents were doing their jobs right, the kids would not have access to Grand Theft Auto at all, and therefore it wouldn't be an issue. But then you also need to look at the next point of the argument, saying that it glorifies violence. It doesn't glorify violence, and to be honest, 99.999% of players are reasonable enough human beings that they will be able to differentiate between killing somebody on a screen, be it another criminal, a policeman, a prostitute, whatever, and killing people in real life, or hurting people in real life. It is a game. These are digital things. They're a collection of polygons wrapped in skin. They are not real things. They cannot be hurt. Granted, they might, you know, they put the realistic voice in, they put realistic movement in, but it's still not a person. It is still not real. So, all out, I just don't understand where people get off doing this kind of thing. You know, I mean, people kicked off about Manhunt, and yes, that was a brutally violent game, but you were killing criminals. You know, people don't look... I mean, people don't even don't take umbrage with games like Destiny. You know, because it's cartoony, it's sci-fi, it's a fucking violent game. You're shooting the shit out of thousands of creatures as you go through, but no one bats an eyelid because it's sci-fi, it's fantasy, it's different. Stick them in a city that that is a parody of LA, and put people that look like real people into it, Lindsay Lohan, and all of a sudden everybody loses their fucking shit, and it just... oh, it drives me utterly insane. Why do people think that they can do this? You know, I'm going in loops here. The point of this rant is there is a change.org petition out there to counter the one that's asked to get Grand Theft Auto banned in Australia. I don't have the link for it. If I can find it, I'll stick it in the description. Otherwise, you should probably just Google for it. But please sign it. Please sign the counter petition to say, look, these people, they have a point about domestic violence. That's great. But when they're relating it to a game a huge game, 200 hours plus some people have put into the game, and never once been actively told to kill a prostitute. They are batshit fucking crazy on this one. Don't get me wrong, I like feminists. Feminists can do what they want. They do great things sometimes. But when they're ruining it for the rest of us, for no fucking good reason. You know, if the game was outwardly sexist, if the game was actively encouraging you to go out and kill a hooker, fine, take umbrage with it. Get these petitions going, try and get the game off the shelves, that is fine. But you know what? These games go through so many steps of quality assurance, they have to be reviewed entirely before they get put onto a console. So, if there was a thing like that, if there was anything where, you know, they were crossing that line that they shouldn't cross, that they shouldn't ever cross, then it would have been picked up. It wouldn't be allowed on the PlayStation, it wouldn't be allowed on the Xbox. It'll get on the PC because that's open, you can install anything on a PC, but it wouldn't get into Steam. So, they're making a mountain out of a molehill and taking the tiniest part of the game and making it into a thing it shouldn't be. And I appreciate this is the rantiest I've ever been on a Crucible chat, but this is just so upsetting because gaming is a thing I love, and Grand Theft Auto 5 is a great game. And I do look forward to getting it on the PS4 at some point when I have some money. But this, I mean, this is what I love to do. This is my hobby. And these people are, you know, they're ruining it for everybody. So I'm going to leave it here because I'm getting so angry with this one. But check out the link, check out the article, see if you can find the petition to reinstate the game in Australia. Don't let this dangerous precedent be set over something that's insignificant in gaming terms. Again, I appreciate domestic violence is a huge thing, but right now, with this reason for Grand Theft Auto 5, it's not on. It shouldn't be tolerated. But thank you very much. I've been Mike, otherwise known as the Gadget Addict, and if you enjoyed this, please do leave a like and subscribe, and come back soon for probably another really bad rant next week. But for now, good night.